Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Miriam and I love everything about books. In 2021 I even did a ridiculous challenge. I decided to read 365 books. And for those of you who have been following me for a long time, know that I actually promised to make a video which I tell you about all the books I read in 2021. And in last week's video I said that as soon as I'm able to monetize that video, because it takes me a lot of time and effort to film it and to make it, but as soon as I'm able to monetize it, I will post this video. So if you're curious about all the books I read in 2021, then hit the subscribe button and give this video a like, because you'll probably know that that helps with the algorithm. And if you want to do a bit more, then please leave a comment and tell me about what book I should really read and do a mini review about, because that's actually what this video is about. In this video I'm going to review 3 books I read recently and that were awesome, and I want everyone to know about these books, so I'll be sharing a review. The first 2 books are actually English books that I also read in English, and the third one is a Dutch original, and hopefully that one gets translated into English because it's such an amazing book. So stick around if you're curious about that. The first book I'd like to share some more about is How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. So far I've read 4 books I think by this author, and this is not my favorite that he wrote, but it was a very good book. This is about a guy named Tom. Well, he's had several names actually, because he suffers from a condition that, well, it's not that he doesn't age, but he ages very slowly. By the time he was actually 20 or something like that, he still looked like a boy from 12 years old. And because of that condition, he's had some terrible things. He was born in, I believe it was the 1600s, something like that. And this book takes place in the present day, but he looks back on his life and the things that happened, so it's not like a story that's in chronological order, but it has flashbacks and all that sort of things. It has multiple timelines, and it was such an amazing book, and it taught me a lot about lasting love and about the meaning of life. My favorite book by Matt Haig remains The Midnight Library, but this is a very good second. I didn't really like The Humans, but this one was a lot better than that one, and I really enjoyed reading it, and I would highly recommend it to you to read it as well if you're into the type of books that Matt Haig writes. Well, the second book I'd like to do a review about is a book I already mentioned in last week's video. I can't remember exactly what I talked about this book, so maybe there's some overlap in this video, but well, this book really, well, it's not like it changed my life, but it was so good, and actually when I finished it I wanted to read it again, and I'm going to show you a tiny bit of, like, do you see all those pink bits? That are the things that I highlighted, and that it's actually a lot in this book. John Mark Comer writes about Exodus 34, where God tells to Moses who he is. Not just I'm God, but like all his traits and his personality, how he's like. And for Christians this is a great book to get to know more about God and his plan for the world and all that sort of things, and it actually provides a decent explanation for the problem of pain. Well, there've been written a lot of books about it. C.S. Lewis did it as well, but I think this book really got to the problem of it. It does a wonderful explanation of the difference between God, like Yahweh, and other gods. I'd say this book is, for Christians, it's a great way to, well, learn more about your faith, why you believe, and who God is. And for non-Christians it's a good read because you get an insight why it's so important for Christians to follow God's way, and why it's more than just a religion, but that Christianity is also more about a relationship. So if you want to get to know more about Christianity but you don't want to convert, you can still read this book. It's not like I can't even find the right words for it, but it's an amazing book. And I actually work in a bookstore, and we got the Dutch translation of this book, and I had to put a post on social media because I manage the social media of the bookstore, and I read the text on the back what the book was about, and then I decided I wanted to have this book because it's so amazing. And I had like 3 books by John Mark Comer, and they were all in English, so I decided I would get an English copy myself as well, because English books are a lot cheaper. That's probably not a good thing to say for someone who works in a bookstore, but in this case it really helped me. But the Dutch translation is also available, and I recommend it to several people, and all the people who bought the book after I said it was a great book said to me it's an amazing book and everyone should read it. So what are you waiting for? Well, maybe for my last book review. This is a bit more difficult because it's a Dutch original, so if you're not Dutch you cannot read this book yet, but hopefully there will be a translation of the book. The original title is The Buurtbarbecue, and I decided to go with a translation, The Barbecue in the Street, but if the book gets translated and it gets a different title, then I'd let you know, hopefully. It's really hard to explain it's not really hard to explain what the book is about, but I'm trying to find a way to tell it so that it doesn't feel odd. But at first sight, this book looks like a collection of short stories. Well, every chapter in the book is about one household in a street. All the households have a different story, and you could easily write a book about their story alone, but the author decided to give very short snippets of the lives of those people. And like for example, in one household there's like it seems like the perfect family. Mom, dad, child that's very successful in school, but actually the child is a gaming addict, and not like he likes to play games, but his schoolwork and everything suffers from it, so he's like a real gaming addict. And there's like, in another household there's a guy who's been in the military and he has PTSS, and for everyone it seems like they have a perfect life, but once you're in the house you find out that there's so much more going on. And what the barbecue has to do with it, everyone gets an invitation for a barbecue that will be at a certain time, and at the end of every story one person fills out the form of how many people they will attend the barbecue. And it was such a great way of you have the saying, the grass is not greener on the other side, and it was such a great way that this book told that. Well, it made a story out of that saying. The book came out in April, it was out for 2 weeks, and then the first print was sold out. And now we're like 6 months, not even 6 months later, I think 4 months later, we're at the 4th print of the book, and it's actually and that's amazing, and no one expected that because it's from a small publisher. It's actually my publisher, who the publisher also publishes my books, so I feel a bit proud. And it's such, I don't know, this book definitely deserves a translation. The writing style is also amazing, so once the book will be available in different languages, please go and check it out. It's amazing. And if you're Dutch, then really go and read The Buurtbarbecue. It's an amazing book. So hopefully you liked my mini review video. Tell me in a comment what books should I read in the future and do a review about. I'm always open for book recommendations. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not a subscriber yet of my channel, please consider subscribing, and as always, happy reading.